Bonjour, folks, ladies and genitals of all genders. I have a very important video for you guys because in this video, I want to break down what's happening with Bitcoin and Ethereum, what we could expect to happen both in the near term and long term, discuss the relevant levels we need to look out for to understand what the next most likely move is. I also want to talk about, is it time to worry about Bitcoin? We got rejected off 50,000. We're seemingly losing some critical support levels, or at the very least not respecting them. So folks, is it time to panic? As you guys can tell, I'm in a sheer panic right now. So before we take any rash actions, let's take the time to look at the charts, analyze them, and get an understanding of what's most likely to happen next. All right, folks, let's take a look at Bitcoin on the 4-hour for those uninitiated. Even though Bitcoin is not necessarily my favorite investment, it is absolutely critical to understand and follow because it is a shortcut for understanding what the rest of the market is likely to do. You got to understand what Bitcoin's up to so you can understand what the rest of the market is up to. So right now, I think the most relevant thing to understand with Bitcoin is this channel. We are in this ascending channel, seemingly having broken down recently, but we held the line at $46,000. Folks, $46,000 is absolutely crucial for us to hold for the following reasons. We are quite overextended in the short term. RSI is in the overbought region. Weighted MACD overbought, bearish crossover. So we are seeing some signs of exhaustion to the upside. So for Bitcoin to hang on to any kind of short-term momentum, we do need to keep maintaining these higher lows. And maintaining 46,000 is absolutely crucial because there's a confluence of reasons to think that this area is likely to be relevant due to multiple support areas converging at this one area. We have the 200 SMA on the daily, this yellow line right there at 46,000. We have the 21 exponential moving average on the daily, this green line here right at about 46,000. Also, if we zoom out a bit here, we can see how 46,000 has historically been extremely relevant, especially right here, where during the beginning of Bitcoin's major sell-off back in May, we temporarily found support right at 46,000. Then we broke down from it, came back up to retest it, and got rejected. Folks, whenever you see an area like this that's clearly historically been very price reactive, a major inflection point, major tipping point that marked Bitcoin's bullish phase up here to Bitcoin's bearish phase down here. So the fact that we got above this level, came back down to retest it, and held it as support is a very good sign. So no matter what short-term bearishness Bitcoin may or may not have, whatever bearish divergence or overextendedness that could play out in the price action, as long as Bitcoin keeps putting in higher lows, as long as we hold the line at $46,000, get any kind of higher time frame candles closing above $46,000, then Bitcoin will maintain its bullishness and the rest of the altcoin market can continue its rallies. Now, if we get any kind of higher time frame candle start to open and close below 46,000, a 12-hour, a daily, open and close below 46,000, then in that case, folks, we're probably going to have more of a substantial market-wide sell-off to the low 40,000s, in my opinion. Probably to retest these highs here that we never fully, arguably, perfectly textbook retested. We also have two substantial moving averages converging at pretty much the same place. The 200 EMA on the daily, which has been very historically relevant and price reactive, as well as the white line, the 50-day SMA, which has historically been a strong bedrock of support during Bitcoin's parabolic impulse, all right about the low 40,000 region. So if we do lose that $46,000 region, we're probably going to retest 40, 41, 42. And I would expect at the very least temporary support to come in right about there. Now, I do want to share with you guys what it would take for me to actually get worried about the health of this bull market and where I would start to strongly question whether or not this whole recent rally was just a massive bull trap or not, is pretty much if we put in any kind of higher time frame closing below, I'd say 36,500 to about 37,300. I do think this region right here that I just mentioned is the macro low. Now, why do I think that? Well, it's because of the hash ribbon indicator. This indicator, folks, has been one of the most accurate indicators for Bitcoin and its history. Whenever we get a blue buy signal, it has always historically signaled the local low, where whatever the previous daily close was before the blue buy signal was the low. We've had dozens of these blue buy signals. Well, I don't know about dozens. Let's actually count them. We've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least 5. We've had a lot of these blue buy signals in the past, point being. And they have always historically marked the bottom for Bitcoin. except for one time, which was December 2019, where we had a blue pie signal and then actually put in a macro lower low, but this was because of the global big cough. So basically what I'm trying to say here is that barring any kind of global calamity or massive black swan event, I do think that this 36 to about 37,000 region was the macro low. And so I would only start to get worried about this whole rally being some kind of massive bull trap if we get daily candles closing on a lower low below 36,500. Because even if we fell all the way down to 37,000, 38,000, that could still be considered a higher low. Anything above this point here at 37,200 to 300 is still a higher low. So even if we pull back here to 41,000, 42,000, as long as we hold the line, as long as we stay above 37, 36,000, this kind of zone here, then I do think the rally, this bullish momentum, can continue. So that's what it would take for me to start being bearish on Bitcoin for now. I don't think there's any real need to pre-panic. I mean, we tried to break down from this channel and it got bought right back up. Going over the shorter time frames here on the 4 hour, I think if we get this next 4 hour candle close above these two previous candles here, then we're probably going to see more of an extended rally. I wouldn't be surprised if we retest $50,000 as long as we get a 4 hour close above, I'd say $49,000. We also have the Bitcoin hash rate continuing to recover, which is a very good sign, as well as the Bitcoin held on exchanges continues to decrease, which is bullish confirmation. Cycle indicators like the Nupal still give us room to the upside. So there are several reasons to think that Bitcoin is still healthy and still has room to the upside. Again, I would only start to get worried once we have higher time frame candles closing below $46,000. That's enough about Bitcoin. Let's talk about Ethereum. Actually, before we go on to Ethereum, if Bitcoin puts in any kind of higher time frame candles closing above 50,000, maybe a 4 hour or 12 hour closing above 50,000, then in that case, I do believe we have the juice to probably test the $53 to $54,000 region. And if we get above that, folks, I mean, there's not that much stopping us from getting all-time highs. All right, ladies and gentlels, Ethereum. So Ethereum's been having some issues lately. Apparently there was a bug that came out causing the chain to fork. So there's been some serious issues surrounding Ethereum. I believe this news just came out today. Now, fortunately, this negative news event has not been reflected in the price action, probably because it got fixed very quickly and very easily. So it shouldn't affect the end user, which is probably why the price wasn't negatively affected. So folks, this isn't anything you should probably be too worried about unless you run an Ethereum node. Just understand that this was an event that happened with Ethereum very recently here. Now, in terms of price action, Ethereum keeps showing us weakness, but it keeps not breaking down here on a daily. Folks, one of the things I look at when trying to understand if an uptrend has ended is I try and find a moving average, whether a ribbon, an EMA, SMA, a cloud, just find anything that held as support throughout the length of the impulse. And typically speaking, not always, but most of the time, whenever we start to get higher time frame candles close below a moving average or support level that we've held throughout the length of the impulse, it typically signals the end of the upside move. And so in Ethereum's case here, the 21 EMA on the 6 hour, this green line, held all throughout Ethereum's run up. And historically, whenever we've broken below it, it typically signaled the end of the uptrend. Now, Ethereum right now has been breaking below it, but has been refusing to break down, actually putting in a higher low. In fact, we have two key support areas converging right here at a previous high, which we're now above right at about $3,200, 21 EMA on the 6 hour green line, and 21 EMA on the daily, this blue line, all at about 3,200. So folks, bottom line is, if Ethereum can hang on to 3,200, then Ethereum can test this high here. And if we get any kind of higher time frame candle closing above 3,300s and 75 and 80, then folks, we're probably testing all-time highs, in my opinion. So I wouldn't get too worried about ETH as long as we hold on to 3,200. If we get some kind of daily close below 3,200, close below 3,180, then in that case, I would strongly caution you about a further pullback. At the very least, the likelihood of a further pullback greatly increases if we have daily candles fully closing below these moving averages. But as we've seen recently, that's not a guarantee. It just really increases the likelihood of a pullback if we start to lose these moving averages. Let's say we do pull back. Very short term here, I would bet we find at the very least some kind of temporary support right here at about $2,900. See how these previous highs here were acting as resistance. As soon as it broke above, came back to and retest it, acted as support. So at the very least, I think we have a pit stop here. Let's say we lose that, I'd wager next major support 2,700, and then aside from that 2,500. If Ethereum starts to get daily candles closing below 2,450, that's when I'll get worried. But basically, in my opinion, folks, as long as Ethereum, if it has a pullback, as long as it holds above 2,450, then any kind of pullback we have will just be a higher low, and the uptrend can theoretically continue. Folks, I will only start to get worried about this market when we start to put in macro lower lows. Losing 2,450 for Ethereum would be a lower low. Losing 37,000 for Bitcoin would be a lower low. So as long as we maintain these levels, any kind of pullback these coins may have would just be a higher low, and therefore the uptrend can continue. Now, to begin to wrap up here a bit with Ethereum, I want to take a second to look at the monthly, folks. The monthly candle closes in 3 days. If we have this monthly candle close anywhere near where it's at right now, that would be incredibly bullish, because we would be closing well above the previous month closes, which is very, very bullish. Same with Bitcoin on the monthly here, folks. What I'm looking out for on the monthly is a close above $47,000. This low here on the wick in these two candle closes. If we hold above 47,000, if we hold above 45,200, then that is very, very bullish for Bitcoin. We just got to hold above 47,000. If we can do that, then this monthly candle will look very, very bullish. As well as these weeklies are pretty relevant here. You can also see how the weeklies is very price reactive off the $46,000 region right here. You can also tell where the resistance is coming in based off of these weekly closes here. So if we get a weekly candle closing above these, then folks, Bitcoin is probably going to test that $53,000 level. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this video. Time to chill a little bit before I wrap up the video. Folks, check out our VIP Discord group if you like this analysis, if you want an extra hand navigating the space, if you want to benefit from our take profit strategy for this bull run. Folks, if you want to kill like we've been doing, we've called 100% moves, 200% moves on Cardano and Solana in our VIP Discord group. I highly encourage you guys to check it out. A link for that is down in the description below. You get access to our Patreon. I also want to update you guys that in about a week, we will be increasing the prices in our VIP Discord group. So if you sign up right now, you will get grandfathered in at the current much cheaper price. Also, to our existing VIP Discord members, you guys will not have to pay any more. I want to make it clear that the price increase will only affect those who sign up after these changes come into effect in about a week's time. So folks, like and subscribe, click all the buttons. YouTube likes it when you click buttons. Also, let me know down in the comments below if you agree with my analysis, disagree with my analysis, as well. Share the video. YouTube likes it when you share things and you click buttons. So click all the buttons, and until next time, folks, take care.